In a world full of noise, two voices rise above the chaos. Ron and Brian. They speak truth. They stir thought. They accidentally help. News, nonsense, and necessary self-care. Join the cult of Ron and Brian. Because the work is so important.
And good evening, everybody. It is Sunday night. It's 8 o'clock, and it is time to do that work because the work is so important. Joining me, as always, a man who is married to the grind and knows what the life of a showgirl is all about. It's Brian. Brian, how the hell are you this evening, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing well, Ron. I am heated up today. It feels like we have not done this show in 3 weeks. I know we did it a week ago.
Right.
It just feels like
Still a little bit of a hangover
from last week's episode.
from last week.
Ooh, it was rough. The very fact that I don't remember us talking about Diane Keaton talking. Ooh, that's always a sign that I must have been sloppy. But holy cow, this is going to be a glorious episode. So much has happened in the past week. I know that you attended the Philadelphia No Kings Parade. I know that I went to the doctor about my dizziness, so I want to give people an update on the dizzy spells that I've been having. A lot of people have been concerned already, flowing in the group chat. But this is going to be a great week. Great episode coming, people.
Should we get started with the biggest and most important piece of information that we have this week? Something that our Patreon subscribers are already aware of, but our regular podcast viewers are not up until this moment.
Yes, with the caveat that if you are listening to this on an audio version, you're listening to an audio podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever people get their podcast. If you're listening to the audio of this, you're going to miss out right now on what is going to happen because this is visual. This is a visual
thing. So you're going to have to, if you're listening, it's theater of the mind right now.
Go to YouTube, go to Facebook, go watch the video because you're going to miss out. Go to Twitch. You're going to miss out if you are not watching the video version of the show. Ron, you've got something so important that you said, I need to talk. I need the top of the show before we even do drink of the week.
I have something off this way
that's going to change the future of the show.
All right. Well, as many people know, I am and have been champion of this podcast for the last couple of years, expecting that to repeat this coming February. So as you know, we've had the delightful 51% ownership championship belt for quite a while now. But you know, it's a little old. It's a little behind the times now. It's a little less relevant because, as you know, this is no longer the Ron and Brian podcast. This is the Cult of Ron and Brian podcast. So we need to retire this belt. I'm going to put it back over here for a moment.
Sure.
I did buy a mount where I can hang it up on the wall back there, so it'll always be there in perpetuity.
Sure.
But we partnered with the good people at Brigade Belts. We put this out there. We said there is a lot of companies interested in designing the new Cult of Ron and Brian podcast championship belt. And Brigade really came through with the design that just knocked our socks off. So right now, without further ado, well, maybe a little bit.
Show it, champ.
We have the new Cult of Ron and Brian title belt. Oh my God. It's shiny. It's gold. It's got microphones. It's got a baseball. It's got a bourbon. It's got Brian over here. It's got me on this one. I mean, it is hands down.
Show it more, Ron. Don't put it away. Keep it up there. I want people to see just how the show has evolved, and so has our championship belt. Ron, look at the detail that the people over at Brigade. This is, and not only that, Ron, but now I can actually see
couple of beer mugs there.
the reflection of your room coming off this title belt. I actually see your double-headed black dildo that you like to keep on your table on the other side of that. That is a beautiful look. The people
Thank
have spoken. Janelle jumping in with it's pretty. Dom saying fantastic. Somebody just said put Brian back on. I'll come back. I'm live. But wow, is that a beautiful belt, Ron? I'm going to say this, and it takes a lot for me. For me,
For me.
I'm jealous that you get to touch that. I'm jealous you
Yes.
get to hold it. I'm jealous that you get to walk around the house making sandwiches for your lady at lunchtime while you have that belt flipped out. Question is this: Is it
Yes.
gold? Is it 6 pounds of gold?
It's a little lighter than the old belt. I would say I would put this probably around 4.5, 5 pounds. But again, the
Understood.
level of detail in this belt,
Yes,
I
it's
think,
a
is
beautiful
what
belt.
pushes it over the top.
It is a beautiful belt.
I was carrying this around earlier. I had it draped over my shoulder while I was sitting watching football earlier. And my wife looked over and with just a look of disgust on her face and says, why do people do this? And I'm like, which part? She's like, you just drape it over your shoulder. I'm like, if you have a title
Yeah.
belt, you drape it over your shoulder. It's
Sure.
just what really does me. I don't get it.
Now,
And she thinks, she has said, and I take this as a compliment, she's like, this is the dumbest thing you've ever done. And I was like, well, thank you.
it's a high
I
compliment.
appreciate that. Yes.
High compliment from Mrs. Ron. And tell me if I'm correct here, but I believe the only time you actually wear the belt around your stomach is when when you're entering the ring wearing a robe,
Sure.
so that you walk in, like this, and then you
Gotta
open
have
up the
hands
robe.
open. Yeah.
You got to have the hands to take off the robe, but that is the only proper time to wear it. The other time
Well,
is tribute.
I am also
Have
wearing it
you
around my waist when I make lunch because I need both hands to make her sandwich for her.
Understood. She likes the crust cutting off. Now the question is this: Have you done the double belt over the shoulder look? Have you done the one over the shoulder, the other one in your
So
hand?
like doing one there and just kind of doing this one. Whoa, this is a lot of title belt right here.
Can you just take a step back so we can see it a little bit better?
Just kind of stand up and see how that. Oh, it's beautiful.
That's
Look at
beautiful.
that. That's the thumbnail for this episode right there.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Ron.
What I have not done, the popular wear one belt around your waist and then the other belt around your torso above that one. But I've lined up some photo shoots. So maybe I'll take some of those different shots.
Sure. Now, what would be awesome, tell me if I'm wrong, is I know the AWA is in the Philly area every now and then. If we had somebody who had a contact in there who would be able to sneak you in before doors, let you take a few photos in the ring wearing the belt, I think that would be the ultimate photo.
I think so. We'll have to work on that. In the meantime, the champ has to get the show started, and we do it like we always do with our drink of the week.
Drink of the week.
Na zdrowie.
Salud.
Drink of the week.
Sláinte.
Drink of the week. Drink of the week. Drink of the week.
Brian,
Drink of the
what are you drinking this week?
Listen, when you have that belt draped over your shoulder, you go first on Drink of the Week.
All right,
There's no way I go first. I have respect for the champ. I respect the champion. You are my champion. You go first, my friend.
All right. Well, we're going to go down. We're going to go where the country roads take us, Brian, down to West Virginia and Big Timber Brewing Company. They are based out of Elkins, West Virginia. And they have the West Virginia Mountain Beer. Get it, Brian? Because the university, it's Mountaineers, but this is Mountain Beer. This is a session pale ale, which they are calling crushable, dry, and hop forward. So what's the alcohol content on this one?
It's dry, just like most counties in West Virginia.
So it's 4.5%, pretty easy. It's got a hazy body to it.
Ooh.
So definitely hop forward. You can see from that. Let's have a sip here.
As he takes a sip, let's see what.
It's more
Oh.
hoppy than you
Ooh.
would expect from a pale ale.
Oh.
It's good though, but I would like it with a little less hop to it, but still damn tasty. So kudos to the folks at Big Timber Brewing.
Are they in Morgantown or are they just
They're in
in the state
Elkins,
of
Elkins, West Virginia. So close by, but not
which is
exactly
where? Which is where?
somewhere in the state of West Virginia.
Okay. All right. What's that you asked, Ron?
I'm asking what you're drinking.
I go this week over to the nice folks over at Jack's Abbey Craft Lagers. They are a brewery in Framingham, Massachusetts. So sticking to my northeast friends, and we are going to say, let's see what kind of beer they are offering. So this is their Modern Pills, and I'm going to write it rightfully so people can see. This is my beer. You would see it a lot better, but I am using this week my frosted Cult of Ron and Brian Drink of the Week mug. This is available in our Shopify website. So if you go to the website on the screen, cultofronandbrian.myshopify.com, it will take you to a website where you can get your own pint glass. These things are beautiful. Almost as beautiful as the beer I'm about to sip, which is the perfect example of Jack's Abbey's craft lager's value of tradition with a twist. Their brewers developed an interesting, complex, and flavorful beer by mixing traditional German lager brewing techniques such as decoction and mashing while using noble hops with newer brewing techniques such as cooling. Their Modern Pills is out to take these two worlds for a storm. Coming in at 5.0 ABV, their beer advocate gives it a score of 87. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Modern Pills from Jack's Abbey.
Did you use the word decoction during the description?
It was actually decoction, but I threw in an extra syllable just to keep you on your toes. This is a delicious beer.
Oh, nice.
There is
talk to me.
There's something there. It's not too hoppy, but yet there's a little bit of a punch in the. It is a complex flavor. It almost has like a thickness, so it's not even like really. It feels like it's closer to an ale than a lager.
Okay.
Definitely not what I would describe as a pills. Pills are normally dry. This is here, and here it goes. It's described as a hop-forward Pilsner.
So we both have hop-forward beers this week.
Absolutely, except I'm enjoying mine, and you're a little bitch being like, too happy. That's my drink of the week. I'm also rocking a shot of Crown Royal. And listen, I believe in the quality that this show puts out there. We still have a couple of, believe it or not, people, there was a mad rush on the last week. We still have a couple of these Ron and Brian shot glasses. If you haven't purchased it yet, go to our website. Go to our the Ron and Brian podcast was the old website. Now it's the Cult of Ron and Brian. Go to our website, click on store, pick yourself up a shot glass. This is Crown Royal.
Is it the chocolate or is it the regular Crown this week?
This is the chocolate. A little bit better than last week. I think last week almost caused me to black out. So this has got a punch to it, people.
I would argue the 3 Sapphire and Tonics you had prior to last week's podcast might have contributed more to that.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Oh, well, I was mourning my mother, Ron. So
Understood.
Please, it feels like you were just being a little judgy.
No, I'm judgy. I'm just, correcting history a little bit, reminding you, bringing you into the forefront.
That's why I was so blasted last week.
All right, well, let's keep things rolling. It's time for Beef of the Week.
Ron and Brian's Beef of the Week.
Brian, what's bothering you this week?
Bowling. Bowling, Ron. Bowling
Really?
bothers me. I had a company event. You know, all good companies believe in building culture, building a sense of camaraderie amongst their employees, their staff.
Sure.
One of the ways to do that is to put together events outside of work, outside of the workplace, where people can just kind of be themselves a little bit more, relax a bit, take the edge off. So earlier this week, my company hosted a bowling event at Frames Bowling in Port Authority in New York. It's on.
Okay.
Thankfully, it had a separate entrance, so you don't have to go through Port Authority to get in there. Otherwise, I probably would have been accosted. So we were at Frames Bowling. This is not a sponsored advertisement, but it was a pretty cool place. Cool place. I would definitely go back there. The problem I have with bowling is this, Ron. I have two different size thumbs. I don't know if you can see it right here.
I'm disturbed now, actually.
Oh, that's okay. People have referred to this at my right thumb as a toe thumb.
It's a toe thumb, without a doubt.
It is a toe. I have a toe thumb. So what happens is when I go to a bowling alley, historically, for me to find a ball that will comfortably fit this circumference of a thumb, look at the two, you can just see the difference here. To fit the circumference, the ball the ball that has a thumb hole wide enough tends to be at least 4 pounds heavier than I need it to be. Now you could spin this, Ron. You could say, Brian, maybe you're just not strong enough, you little sissy bitch. And you need to bowl with a very light ball. But what ends up happening is I have to use a heavier ball than my arm can. And what ends up happening is I throw a lot of gutter balls. It was frustrating me. I did not break 100. We played 2 games. My first score was, I believe, mid 90s. Second score closer to the lower 80s. But this thumb prevents me from bowling with a ball that is the right weight for my arm. I'm going to need to get better with that.
I mean, what can you do exactly with the toe thumb?
There's nothing I can do about that, but I ultimately, if I'm going to become the professional bowler that I want to be, I'm going to need to get a custom ball. And I love putting my thumbs all over balls. It is one of my favorite activities is to just get this thumb and just rub it over the ball and then look for an opening and see if I could just push my thumb into that opening and then take it out, put it back all over the ball, get it nice and dirty, put it right back in the hole.
I remember in college, you had no issue finding balls. You would often say to me on Monday morning, like, Ron, you would not believe how many balls I found this weekend.
So many balls over the weekend. They used to call me Big Ball Brian, if I remember correctly.
I do. Exactly. The ball hunter was another nickname.
Ooh. Get your act together, bowling alleys. Ron, what's bothering you? What's bothering you?
My beef this week, Brian, I think it's an actual legitimate beef. DoorDash is my beef this week, Brian, because I don't know if you saw this story, Brian. They have allegedly fired one of their drivers located in New York after she reported that she was sexually harassed. It's a driver by the name of Livy Rose Henderson, publicly alleged that DoorDash deactivated her account just days after she reported being sexually harassed while on the job. The incident occurred on October 12th when she arrived at a customer's residence to leave a contactless order. She claimed that the customer was exposed on his couch with his pants and underwear down and that the encounter was captured on video. As of this point, DoorDash is responding to comments saying we take everybody's privacy very seriously, but they still have not put her back on the platform. And I feel that's a shitty thing to do, Brian.
Why? Because she complained that somebody had exposed themselves?
Correct.
That is really, first off, I'm just very glad that I don't use DoorDash because I know that you would have jumped at the opportunity to say that it was me.
I mean, possibly, but I think you're a man of more integrity. I mean, I will say you do get consent before you expose yourself. Most
always. Well, ever since you reached out to that lawyer and you had them give me that form.
it's and you keep a certain distance away from schools now. I mean, it's just important.
Well, not by choice.
So many people have been deactivating their DoorDash accounts because of this. I mean, it does seem like a shitty way
Sure.
to
That is
treat one of your
terrible. Yeah, absolutely.
Brian, another important question for you before we go any further. What are you watching?
I've watched so many things this past week. Let's start off. I finished the Ed Gein series on Netflix, Monster Ed Gein.
Oh, I don't know what you're doing over there, Mother. What? Why don't you want to see my penis?
It was weird. Don't get me wrong.
You're
First off,
you're a Jezebel, Brian. I can't be with you. You're a Jezebel.
Oh, I don't know why you're doing that. Do you have a Jiminy Cricket?
So this was, in my opinion, exactly. Dom says it's just so boring.
Yeah.
So boring. I would say this. They stretched it out to an 8-part series. Should have been 4. I think this was a story that should have been told in 4 parts, and we would have been good. There was no need to bring in Alfred Hitchcock. There was no need to bring in Anthony Perkins. There was no need to stretch in Ted Bundy, Richard Speck.
Toby
Richard
Hopper.
Speck they brought in. Oh, you're absolutely correct. I mean, it was just like, it was almost as if 3 episodes into it, they just sat there and said, you know what? We don't have enough material here.
You know what? I don't think we have enough material here, fellas. I think we're going to need to add some more things.
And I will say this.
Also, what?
Charlie Hunnam, great as Ed Gein. Like,
Very
great
good.
transformation, great acting, horribly written show.
The scene where he mounts the female corpse on his dining room table and inserts himself inside of the.
Oh, how are you liking that?
I mean, he didn't get consent. There was no consent. I mean, I know times were a little different then, but still, you should be like,
hey, may I enter your body now?
I will say, I think he should have maybe lost some of the musculature prior to this role, because you don't see a Bowflex in his barn, you don't see free weights anywhere, but he's cut. He's definitely got some definition.
That was that was a thumbs down for me. Also watched, because we didn't do what are you watching last week, did we?
We did not.
Good. I watched Black Rabbit with Jason Bateman, Judd Law.
Yes.
It felt like I had seen it before. I don't know exactly what it is. Brothers running a restaurant, bar. Somehow, they have a big booming DJ scene, but everybody can hear each other talk. Like it's never too loud. I'm sorry, Ron. You and I go into a restaurant, even moderate volume. You and I are going like this.
Huh?
What? Huh?
We're writing notes on the menu back and forth to each other.
There's a DJ in the corner doing this. And yet they're like, I'm not sure that I'm going to be at dinner tomorrow night. What are you talking about? You have to go. So, entertaining. I would give it a 6.5 out of 10. And I'll run through this. I also watched My Father, the BTK Killer. What?
Horrible. It was horrible.
Why was it horrible?
I don't think there was really anything new about the BTK story from that. It was just a rehash of stuff we already knew.
Correct. But this is the thing, Ron, and this is where I feel you're out of touch, is that there is an entire generation of people who are watching Netflix right now who were not exposed to the serial killers that you and I grew up with. Like, can we talk about the BTK killer ad nauseum? Can we talk about all of his miscues in terms of communicating with the police and sending a disk drive that he worked on at work? I mean, enough. However, the 20-somethings, this is their introduction to him. I mean, how are you going to goon while watching Netflix if you're not going to get a BTK killer show? Watch it. Like you said, I didn't learn anything from it. Didn't need to. Apple TV, though. Apple TV is dropping bombs on us. Slow Horses. I think I'm up to episode 4 of the new season. Just an enjoyable show. You're missing out. Gary Oldham's character gets better every year, like fine wine. Also a show I just started. 3 episodes have been dropped so far. The Last Frontier. also feels like this is treading territory we've already watched in various things. Prisoner transport. Even my lady said, "Are we watching Con Air?" So a prisoner transport plane
Right.
flying over Alaska gets taken down by the prisoners who escape, and the story is about the local sheriff trying to catch and track down all the inmates on it. But then suddenly, with the 5 minutes into the show, the CIA shows up because one of the prisoners there is one of theirs. And then it just starts going skewing. I'm going to keep watching it, but we love it. And a show that we talked about earlier today that we both watched, which will be my introduction into it before we start talking about what you've been watching, is The Perfect Neighbor, which is the Florida Stand Your Ground documentary. Incredibly done about a neighbor's dispute that eventually leads to one of the neighbors shooting the other neighbor to death. It is a classic Florida Stand Your Ground case. What was interesting about this documentary is that it is all police footage. It is all
body cam
cameras, all body cam photos. It is all interrogation videos. There's absolutely no interviews of subjects. There's no people to give their opinion. It is just the body cam photo. Really well done.
It was. I mean,
I thought.
it was a little unnerving at first because the dash cam and body cam footage can be a little shaky at times.
Sure.
Just a heartbreaking story. Like this woman, the so-called perfect neighbor. She moves into this apartment and a neighborhood filled with families and is constantly complaining because there's kids outside playing.
Correct.
Well, you're in a neighborhood with a bunch of families.
Correct. Ron, you intentionally moved to a block where children are not allowed. So I don't know how you can sit here and say that you understand the plight of this woman.
I don't understand the plight. And then she fires a gun through a closed door, striking one of the mothers in the neighborhood.
Yep. A locked door, not just closed. It was a locked door, and I think that's where she, where her story loses sympathy. Because
but you see in real time on this body cam footage, the police telling the ex of this woman that she has died from
father
her
of her
gunshot
kids,
wounds, and then the father of her kids, and then he having to tell their children that she's never coming back again.
I know. Yes,
that was absolutely gut wrenching.
Sure. Absolutely. Though I didn't understand the text you said when we were watching it. You said that you didn't understand how the family gets those airbrushed memorial T-shirts done so quickly. I just think it's a lovely tribute.
I don't believe I sent a text about
Ron,
that.
I think it is a lovely tribute that people do of all different ethnicities and cultures, where when a loved one dies, they make memorial T-shirts done.
Well, I will be sure to get a airbrushed shirt of you when you depart this mortal coil.
And this is something I was going to say. We should do that shit while we're still alive. So I should be able to enjoy the memorial shirt that you put on. Just leave a space for the year. Wear it a few times. Let me have I would like to wear it.
Give the birth date and the dash, and then leave. Tell the designer, listen, leave that spot because I'm just going to fill it in when one of us
get a Sharpie. You get a Sharpie, fill it in. But I thought that it was a real, and also they didn't make it a 4-hour docuseries. 90 minutes. 90 minutes. I think it was hour 38, which was including all the credits at the end. So this is just exactly what you want to watch on a Sunday. Ron, you obviously you watched that, but what else have you watched?
Well, real quick, before we leave Perfect Neighbor, was there anything more satisfying than when this woman was sitting in the police interrogation room at the end, and they slowly start to tell her how her story has unwound, and she's going to get arrested, and then she's like, "Spoiler alert! I can't do this. I can't be arrested."
But the spoiler alert. But you know, they show one of the questions they asked when they first bring her, and this is even my lady called this out, which was, how is it this woman did not get a lawyer? You know, she's in they show the dates transpire. This is over like a week. They show her multiple times at different intervals, different dates, talking to the detectives in the case, because she's not arrested immediately.
No.
She gets arrested after a week, but while they're putting their case together, she keeps going back to give more statements to the police officers. Never brings a defense lawyer. Even my lady just said to, she was like, "Where's her lawyer?" But she's answering all these questions and incriminating herself because she starts off with, "Oh my God," because it turns out, and I know now we're getting into the details, but she had called the police when her neighbor was banging on the door to say, "Please send somebody over. My neighbor is banging on the door," hangs up, and then calls the police back to be like, "I just shot my neighbor." Now, the cops say, "Well, how much time transpired between the two?" And she goes, "Oh, it was like 10 minutes. This woman was pounding on my door forever."
Yeah.
Fast forward to the scene right before they do put her through with the with criminal charges. Like 2 minutes transpired from the time you hung up before you called back that you had shot her. So in less than 2 minutes, you had decided that you were no longer going to wait for police and that you were going to go get your gun and you were going to shoot. Because you never said, "Hey, I have my gun. What should I do?" You just hung up with the cop. "Please send cops." And then within 2 minutes, you were on the phone with 911 dispatch saying, "I just shot my neighbor." But
I got the impression from her, she seemed like one of those individuals that felt that she was smarter than everybody else. And so I think that's why she said, I think she just felt that if she went in and just stuck to her story,
sure,
like almost like, oh, if I bring in a lawyer, I'm going to seem guilty. But if I just stick to my story, maybe I'll get out of this. But that was very enjoyable. So
see, what else have you been watching?
So I finished up Peacemaker with John Cena. Second season, great. Better than the first season, I think.
Really?
Only disappointing thing, apparently not going to be a third season. James Gunn has said they're going to continue the story in a variety of DC movies moving forward. Kind of stinks, but we'll see.
That doesn't sound like something that the DC or Marvel world would do.
No, not at all. But so we'll see how that plays out. Also finished up Task with Mark Ruffalo, which I know you mentioned you watched the first episode.
Started. Correct.
I will say it takes a little bit to get going. It's definitely, I would say, the second half of the season much stronger than the first. Last couple of episodes.
What's the storyline? Can you just give me the plot? Because I watched it for about a half an hour and just said, I don't even understand the plot here yet.
So the plot is you've got this group of guys that is robbing this biker games homes of drugs and cash. Mark Ruffalo is a FBI field agent who is then has to lead a task force to try and find these guys that are robbing. And there's a lot of different backstories that go into it too. And I think that's why I think that all of the backstories bog it down a bit in the beginning, but once they start to really get everybody's story out, that's when it starts to move.
Okay.
And then I also watched the documentary Downey Wrote That on Peacock. This is the story of Saturday Night Live writer Jim Downey.
No way.
Awesome. I mean, again, and I think if you are of our generation, the kind that grew up on SNL in the 80s and the 90s, I didn't realize he had gone to write for the David Letterman show. When Lorne Michaels left Saturday Night Live in 1980, Jim Downey went and became the head writer at David Letterman. Just such you look at all of the sketches that he wrote and was a part of, and you see all of these people throughout the history of Saturday Night Live: Adam Sandler, Will Forte, Maya Randolph. I mean, Bill Murray is a huge fan of his.
Everybody
talking about how if they had a sketch that wasn't working, they would take it to him and he would figure out a way to punch it up. He apparently was the head writer for Weekend Update when Norm Macdonald was the anchor, and apparently those two just played off of each other so well. If you don't know who he is, I pulled up a photo which will make him very recognizable. This is him as the principal of the high school in Happy Gilmore at the end, where he ran the
no
show.
Way.
Yeah, a much younger Jim Downey. And so amazingly enough, so Adam Sandler was telling this story about how, they had written Happy Gilmore, and no, Billy Madison, excuse me. They'd written Billy Madison, and they had this character, and they were like, we need somebody kind of straight-laced. And so they tapped him for the role, and he came in, and his only contribution to the script was him writing that thing he says, where he says, Mr. Madison, what you've said is the most ignorant thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
We're all, he's
Yeah.
like, and Adam Sandler was like, it pissed me off so much because he comes in and he writes this one piece, and it's the piece that everybody quotes from the entire movie.
Sure.
But as it drags in certain areas because you don't necessarily need to know all of the background. But it's if you are into the nostalgia of comedy, if you will, the 70s, the 80s, the Harvard Lampoon, all of that. Just very, very entertaining. I would recommend it.
Great. I will definitely be watching.
And I think I only got through 4 episodes of the Ed Gein story before I was just like, there's too much going on here. It's all over the board.
I don't know that you need to keep watching it.
It's the sinful cold cuts, Brian. Like just horrible writing.
Oh, mother.
Absolutely horrible writing.
It's just, yes, it's not, it wasn't great, but I will say, listen, I have issues, it takes a lot for me to give up and move on from something. And I know you're going to be like, oh, you've been married.
But I do agree. Charlie Hunnam is hot. HAWT, as Neil said.
Sure. I still say he peaked in Sons of Anarchy.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't like his role in the movie The Gentleman?
I don't even think I ever saw The Gentleman. What is The Gentleman?
With Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam, Colin Farrell, Hugh Grant, the guy from.
I think we never made it. I think we took 10 minutes into this movie and gave up.
Really?
Yeah.
I think
did not
that's
make
a
it deep
movie
into
that
this
if you plow through it, again, a little slow to get started. I think if you plow through it, you'll enjoy it at the end.
We were in that slow period and just gave up on it. But no, I thought I had no idea he was British until after Sons of Anarchy was off the air.
All right, fair enough. Well, let's get into our stories of the week.
Sure.
Brian, these are stories, as everybody knows, that we want to make sure that we get to before we run out of time. Brian, what is your story of the week this week?
Listen, Ron, my story this week touches upon the concept of religion and organized religion and the comfort that it brings to people. I know it's very easy for us to sit here in our elite East Coast college educated worlds where we sit there and go, oh, organized religion is for suckers. It's human beings taking advantage of others and just claiming that they're, holier than thou and setting up rules for other people to live by. But we don't have to follow those same rules. It's easy for us to say that, but that's not always the case. And my story this week, goes all the way down to Brazil, where a shirtless Brazilian priest, I believe his name is Luciano Braga Simplicio, and he was anything but simple. He was caught hiding the fiancee of one of his parishioners under a bathroom sink. He was obviously providing her comfort, but the clergyman claimed the woman was only in his apartment. Obviously, he's shirtless. It's very humid there. I think people have to understand the story. It
happens.
It comes across more sordid than it really is. She was only in his bathroom to take a shower in his apartment. The Reverend was confronted by a group of angry men outside of the parish house. It is Our Lady of Aparecida Parish, as the furious groom-to-be unleashes an outburst at the priest. The unholy situation unfolded on October 13th in the 5,000-person town of Nova Maranga, in Brazil, which is about 3,000 miles east of the Brazilian border. The priest, who was only wearing gym shorts, attempted to leave the room several times, but was blocked by his parishioners in order to open a door while the mob entered to find the missing fiancé behind him, hiding in the bathroom. He had allegedly snuck the woman in his home next to the church in the early morning when her fiancé was out of town. confrontation appeared to shock the priest, who I'm sure was just there to give her some comfort,
Of course.
who he looked confused as he was being yelled at in front of his clerical clothing and other religious objects. This is just a story that I think, the American media gets their hands on. It's something so simple as a woman who is going to get married, seeking out her local priest because she just wants some further reassurance that this union
What is that?
going to...
Pre-Cana they do before
Yes,
the marriage? Yeah, that's
correct.
Just
So
what's going on here.
He was doing a little pre-condom when they knocked on the door. Though I don't know. I've heard the rumor Brazilians aren't big fans of condoms. You told me that, didn't you?
I don't know that it was me, but might have been. I've said a lot of things over the years.
Well, inside the bathroom, they found the missing 21-year-old fiance. That's very young to get married. The unidentified woman was pulled out from the vanity, revealing that she was only there wearing a tank top and shorts. Both women and priests have denied having any sexual relations.
I mean, it is hot in Brazil.
Very,
so I would
very
imagine
hot. Very hot.
As you are connecting with the Lord, as you are pre-Canaing,
sure,
you can get a little sweaty. So you might need to, strip down a little bit.
And I'm sure it's very common for a priest to say, "Hey, would you mind if I take off this smock and just walk around shirtless?"
Right.
It's very normal.
I'm a man of God. Nothing's going to happen.
Of course. That is my story, and it's just, once again, people, believe the best in our religious leaders because it's incapable. They are incapable of doing wrong.
Exactly. As we have, as we've covered over and over
Sure.
on this very show. Nothing.
Ron, what's your story of the week?
My story of the week, Brian, let me take this photo down. We go to Kearney, New Jersey, Brian. As we have often said, not much good happens in New Jersey, and this story is kind of reflects that. Are you a man that likes to go shopping, Brian? Do you like to head
Love
to your
going shopping.
Like to go to your local Marshalls every now and then?
Ron, I love Marshalls. Love Marshalls.
Do you get frustrated with the long lines at your local Marshalls?
Who doesn't?
Well, apparently, 25-year-old Amber Thompson, who I've not been able to find a photo of her as of yet, got a little upset with a woman in front of her over the speed of the checkout line.
Sure.
So Amber decided to threaten the woman, threatened to harm her in line. The victim and her family decided, listen, we're just going to leave. We're going to go to our vehicle. So apparently Thompson then bought a set of knives, took one out of the packaging, and chased the victim down in the parking lot, stabbing her several times. Police said the victim was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Thompson was found hiding in the bathroom of the Marshalls with a bloody knife on top of the baby changing station. She has been charged with aggravated assault, unlawful possession of weapons, possession of a weapon for an unlawful person, and endangering another person. I would argue that unlawful possession of weapons, because she bought it, she had a receipt for it.
That is a lawful possession.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You look like you were going to have a question or a comment.
My comment, Ron, is that this is acceptable behavior in New Jersey. I know a lot of people are going to sit there and say you can't do this shit and expect to get away with it. In New Jersey, we're having to wait in line is reasonable behavior to start stabbing people.
I mean, do you think perhaps Amber should have used like the online shopping feature so that she could get things shipped to her, that she could pick it up at the store? Maybe that's a good way if you're going to get very angry about a line.
I don't see her having done anything wrong here. I would, if you make me wait online, Ron, so there's going to be a stabbing.
I mean, you have bailed out a stabbing woman before. Maybe you need to help Amber out as well. Oh, sorry. It was T-ball right there. Had to take a swing at it.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well
Thank
done.
you very much.
Well done. Moving on, Ron, do we have, shouldn't we be talking about football right now?
We most definitely should be talking about football, and most importantly, our locks of the week.
locks.
Brian, your head might have been filled with sapphire and tonic last week, but it was also filled with winning picks. You looked at these New England Patriots. Patriots are back, baby, with Mike Vrabel at the helm. You looked at New England -6 versus Tennessee. You're like, I'll take those numbers all day long. New England wins 31-13. And then you looked at Cowboys versus Commanders. Commanders on the road, favored by 2.5. You were like, nope. This is where Dallas gets their offense rolling. Sure enough, Dallas wins 44-22, bringing you to a perfect 14-0. How do you do it?
We do this week after week while piling up cash, stacking funds, making Vegas look stupid. But at the end of the day, Ron, how do I do it? I do it by looking at you and saying, what is he doing? Because you, Ron, also went 2-0 for the 7th week in a row this season, going back 28 years. I do not believe you've ever gotten a game wrong. Rams in London, laying 3.5 over the Jaguars. Both teams were 4-2 going in. However, you sat there and said, listen, Los Angeles is bringing quality. Jacksonville is bringing trash. Rams win it 35-7. Easily covering the line of 3.5. You also saw the Green Bay Packers going on the road to Arizona. Arizona getting 5.5 points. You sat there and said, give me Arizona. They are 22-2 in the month of October when they are home underdogs on a day following Saturday. Packers winning 27-23, not covering the line. You went 2-0. Ron, how do you do it?
Listen, it's research. It is studying. A little bit of ketamine from time to time, and it just really helps me gather my thoughts and make these picks.
Focus.
Brian, what are your locks of the week for next week in the NFL?
Locks of the week. This is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm seeing. The Jets may be one of the worst teams ever in the history of the NFL when lost their 7th game today against who are they playing? Does not matter. The Panthers.
Dolphins.
It was probably the Panthers. Both teams looked atrocious. Don't even know the final score. Bengals are playing the Jets, only laying 4 points. I have no idea who's playing for the Bengals this week. It doesn't matter. Bengals will cover that line. Also, having watched the Panthers, I sat there and said, this team is trash if they are not trouncing the Jets yet. They're going to Buffalo and getting only 7 points. Buffalo Bills coming off a loss followed by a week off. This team will retool the machine, apply oil where it needs to, get the gears back in shape. Buffalo wins it handily. My picks, Bengals -4, Bills -7. Ron, what do you got?
I like, this may shock you, Brian. I like the New York Giants losing a heartbreaker to Denver today at the last moment. The Giants +9 on the road against the Eagles. They already beat the Eagles at home. I have to think they can keep it close enough to make that. And then those New England Patriots, Brian, I'm a believer. They're going in. They're playing Cleveland. Couldn't even tell you who plays in Cleveland anymore after they sent Joe Flacco to the Bengals. So New England -5.5. Bet with your head, not over it, Brian.
Oh, wait a second. So is Flacco going up against his old team, the Jets?
He is. I mean, isn't every team in the NFL Flacco's old team at this point?
Oh, I know he's also played for the Ravens. I couldn't tell you one other team he may have played for all 50 teams. I have no idea. I just don't follow the sport.
Won a Super Bowl with the Ravens.
Speaking of which, today we have game, 6 of the AL Championship in baseball. Ron, you have been killing it. In terms of your astute observations about the baseball playoffs. You said at the beginning, Milwaukee is going to get crushed by the Dodgers, swept. They ended up Dodgers went commanding 4-0 series. Ron, what are you thinking about the baseball playoffs? How are you enjoying them?
I would have liked to have seen the Dodgers get knocked out. But listen, we're watching the greatest baseball player of all times right now in Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
For him to go into a deciding game, throw 6 innings, 10 plus strikeouts, and then 3 home runs to bat 3 home runs.
Sure. It is very impressive. Very impressive. Almost as impressive as the fact that Yi Savage has started off with 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings. His counterpart in Seattle today has 3 strikeouts after 2 innings. The game goes to the third. Lots of strikeouts on the mound so far. Don't celebrate it yet, people. The game is still going on.
You want to hear something interesting I read about Shohei Ohtani and that $700 million contract that the Dodgers signed him to?
Sure.
That apparently the Dodgers have already made that money back in merchandise sales, ticket sales, getting into the Japan market. So they've already covered that $700 million in year 2 of his contract. And they will probably win a second World Series.
Which is why we need a salary cap. We need to end we need to end this deferred compensation plans for players. I think that we need a strike. We haven't had a strike in a lot of years. Baseball seems to be growing momentum. It seems to, be getting to the point where people are really starting to embrace the sport. Let's have a strike, just to destroy all the goodwill that the fans have for the sport. Let's reset it back several years when people were bitter towards it. They'll have to start over again.
My question to you, I know you were joking a little bit, but is it really a salary cap issue, or is it an issue that the ownership of so many teams doesn't want to put money back into the team? Like you shared that chart with me that showed, most one of the worst teams as far as spending their revenues versus salaries. And as expected, the worst 15 teams in the league, like they get this revenue sharing money. The teams who go over the salary cap pay the luxury tax, which then gets distributed to the other teams. And these owners just pocket this money versus putting a competitive team on the field.
Correct. And the sport will do nothing about that because it's not popular. And nobody wants to admit that you've got billionaires who are soaking the sport of billions of dollars. And it's easy for them to be like,
oh, the Dodgers and Yankees are ruining the sport. That's what Mother says. Mother says that deferred compensation is ruining Major League Baseball. You don't say.
Mother says Juan Soto wasn't worth the money he was paid.
Mother says that I should put my penis in a vice and spin the wheel.
You know what else we need to do is we need to go back down to Brazil, Brian, because a glamorous suspected serial killer allegedly kept her landlord's decomposing body inside her home for 5 days, according to reports. Brian, this is Ana Paula Velosa Fernandez, a 36-year-old mom and law student from Sao Paulo. She is alleged to have killed at least 4 people in the space of 5 months. The police chief there said that she is an extremely manipulative suspect who takes pleasure in killing and shows a lack of remorse. One of the 4 deaths tied to her includes her landlord, Marcelo Hari Fonseca, who she allegedly stabbed during an argument back in January.
I'm sorry, Ron. Based on the photos and what you've said so far, I think she's innocent.
What I can say is I think we can fix her.
She can be fixed. She just needs a good man in her life to just kind of reset her onto the path of the righteous.
Now, she has been using rat poison to kill people, allegedly.
Who hasn't?
And killed 3 others for financial gain and revenge. Also accused of testing the poison on dogs, killing at least 10. Now that I can't get behind.
I can't get behind that, but I know you want to get behind her, Ron. One of the things that I don't know if you read the article that I forwarded to you from the Atlantic, but they were talking about her. She also has a hatred of frogs and loves men who have their own private pool. Said that she's willing to relocate to the Northeast. I don't know. Maybe you want to throw your hat into that ring and say that she could stay with you. You do
How
have
does
extra
she feel
bedrooms.
about title belts, Brian? That is the important thing.
She loves them. They sit perfectly right underneath her fake breasts. And she also said that she has no problem eliminating any women that might be in the way.
Fair enough. Next up, we have child abuser dad Jake Haro, who admitted on Thursday in court to torturing and murdering his defenseless 7-month-old son Emmanuel, whose tiny body has still not been found. This is a mugshot of Jake and his wife Rebecca. Also arrested in this case. He copped to a second-degree murder charge, as well as to charges of assault causing bodily harm to a child and filing a false report during a hearing in court this past Thursday. He is scheduled to be sentenced on November 3rd. And his wife, who was also charged with murder, pled not guilty to an updated criminal complaint. So I guess she will be going through trial.
So she's not pleading guilty.
She is at this point not pleading guilty, although she may be holding out for a plea bargain at this point. But
She
now that
reminds
Jake
me of
has
somebody.
admitted to it,
She reminds me of somebody. I don't know who. Oh, the chat. Here we go. Janelle says she looks like Maya Rudolph. I don't see the similarities there, but I guess Janelle sees Maya Rudolph there. I guess it's the black eye.
now, if this guy wasn't enough of a piece of shit, he also has a previous conviction for child abuse and was sentenced to probation, which he was still serving when he killed his son in the prior
Fucking
case.
Christ.
He viciously beat his 10-week-old daughter, Carolina, leaving her disabled for life. The girl who he had with his ex-wife has cerebral palsy and is now permanently bedridden. This guy's there's no chance this guy doesn't get killed in prison, right?
Guy gets killed in prison.
Like zero
The question is, does he replace Casey Anthony on the spectrum of loving children, where Casey Anthony is on one end and Jared from Subway is on the other? Like,
I mean,
that has always been the spectrum we've used for people and how much they and how they feel about children. It seems like he hates children more than Casey Anthony hates them.
it's possible. Oh, and I forgot to write that down. So there was a TikTok the other week about a woman who was making TikToks about how her husband had left her and their family for Casey Anthony.
You sent it to me.
Did I? All right.
Of course you did. Yes, I
We
go into it.
We didn't cover it here.
I go into it. Casey Anthony, she has listen, she paid her price to society. She went through the trial. They found her not guilty. Of course, innocent until proven guilty. Lady was found not guilty. So I think you have to believe all women, Ron. Hashtag.
Hashtag believe the women.
Believe all women, Ron. You have to.
All right. Oh, she's like knocking everything around today. Let's see. What are the
Looks like that woman got knocked around a little bit.
Oh boy.
What do you got there?
Let's see if we can get to this story. This is a wannabe New York City killer. Who tried to get out of sentencing in a very unique way. So this is, hold on, let's pull up a photo here on the left. So that is Avery Dunning. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison on charges including attempted murder and assault for shooting his neighbor, Jemina Gary. So apparently Gary, his neighbor, got involved in the situation. She confronted Dunning for allegedly abusing his girlfriend, so he shot her. He tried to get out of his sentencing by using homemade porn videos he filmed with a juror to try to get his conviction tossed.
Now, the juror had already found him guilty. This is the part that drives me, that I think makes this an incredible story, is that the juror goes through the trial, finds him guilty, because, God bless the American legal system. You have to have this isn't majority rule. all jurors need to find a guilty verdict.
Right.
And after he is found guilty, so this juror finds him guilty. Afterwards, his mother shows up. Now, keep in mind, I don't know. Neither of our mothers are alive right now, so thank God they'll never be able to see a sex tape that we make.
True.
But this guy's mother shows up to the court with, "Hey, I have a videotape of my son with one of the jurors having sexual relations. That should be cause for that I mean, obviously, she's basically saying that he did not do a good job of satisfying this juror when you think about it.
Because she didn't remember him. She had sex with him back in 2022 and apparently just never remembered this one night stand.
Could you imagine having like an archive folder of all the great loves that you've had in your life and that you could go back and watch anytime and then say to your mother, "Oh, by the way, I need you to go into that closet and take out tape A87. And I need you to bring that to my lawyer."
I knew these tapes would come in handy one of these days.
Yeah, and what I love about, every now and then the legal system works. The court system looked at this guy with his sex tape in hand and said, "We don't give a shit. You're guilty," and going to jail.
Obviously, they are going to appeal this ruling, but just when you think you've heard it all, we find out that there is something new to hear.
Sure. God bless. You got to love this world. Got to love it.
All right, let's see. Let's see if we can come up with a heartwarming tale.
Let's end on a good note, Ron. Let's end on a good note.
Yeah. Brian, do you keep in touch with anybody from high school? Any old friends from Stuyvesant that you catch up with from time to time?
I do not have any friends from Stuyvesant.
Well, let's talk about.
Do you have friends from high school?
I've got a couple that I keep in touch with. Not a lot, but a couple. Well, we've got a couple of 70-year-old men that went to school in South Dakota and reunited, which resulted in Carl Erickson, pictured here. He waited 50 years to carry out revenge against his high school bully, Norman Johnson. Erickson shot Johnson twice in the face, leading to a life sentence. The locker room incident that remained in Erickson's head for 50 years had driven him into severe depression. As teenagers, Norman Johnson was a sports star, and Carl Erickson was a student manager of a high school sports team. Norman reportedly bullied him in the locker room and put an underwear strap over his head, which down the line, if he says something snapped due to my anxiety and his depression, and he ended up shooting and killing his high school bully 50 years after.
Interesting, Ron. Do you remember all the times you bullied me back in college?
I don't. I was very polite to you.
Really? Okay. Well, that's not how I remember it. That's not how I remember it, but okay.
It's to go back to Billy Madison. If he had just called this guy and said, "Hey, I apologize," maybe he would have crossed his name off his revenge list and then put on a nice layer of lipstick and called it a night.
All right. Okay.
Speaking of calling it a night, Brian. Yes.
I don't think I've forgotten when you were so impolite to me. Mother says that I have to get my revenge on you. Jiminy Cricket.
Well, maybe you can get your revenge by somehow
I'm going to cut
this title belt away from me come February.
I'm going to cut your penis off and I'm going to boil it on the pot on my stove while I leave your entrails spilled all over in a burlap sack on my kitchen floor.
Which is fine. If I could just request you not have sex with my my dead body, that would be my only request.
I'm going to attach a vulva to your anus and then I'm going to penetrate you.
How many vulvas did Ed Gein end up with? It was a lot, I feel.
It was an entire jar. I believe he had a whole shelf of just vulvas. And he used to eat in his special bowl.
Now, we've had kind of a saucy, spicy episode already. But you don't know what you're missing if you're not listening to our
How do you know?
After Dark
Correct.
special every week. It's 30 minutes. You go to cultofronandbrian.com. You click in the upper right-hand corner to become a patron. You join at the $10 level or higher, and you get access to the live show, which will take place at 9:30 tonight. You get a bunch of other swag. You also get advance notice. Like we mentioned at the top of the show, the Patreon subscribers were the first ones to find out about the new Ron and Brian title belt. And then they even got an unboxing video on Wednesday, I think it was. So definitely a lot of perks other than just the After Dark. So still plenty of time for you to sign up for a Patreon subscription and for us to get you the link for tonight's After Dark. Brian.
Absolutely.
Another fantastic episode.
Just a great episode.
I think
we didn't even do celebrity obituaries.
We didn't get. I mean, we lost Ace Frehley. We lost the bassist for Limp Bizkit. Who else? Ed Williams from the Naked Gun movies. D'Angelo. And also today, did you see former Bucks running back Doug Martin dying at 36 years old?
Yes. Though I did not see a reason.
I hadn't seen anything, a reason behind it yet. They just were getting the news out, so I assume we will.
Thoughts and prayers to his family. Thoughts and prayers to his family. Excuse me.
Exactly.
Ooh, thoughts and prayers to his family. Was he a big boned young man? Where will he be buried? You don't say.
All right. Well, you will miss out on 30 minutes of Brian doing his Ed Gein voice on After Dark tonight. So make sure you subscribe and get in there.
But Rod, that might be a reason for people not to watch it.
Frehley, like Haley's comment. I did mispronounce Ace's last name.
Is it
all right, let's wrap
Frehley?
this up, Brian, unless you've got anything additional.
I've always said Frehley.
Well, we were both wrong.
Oh, not the first time I've been wrong. I used to think that vulvas were detachable.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Patreon members, we will see you in a little bit. Everybody else, we will see you next Sunday night.
Thank you for joining us for the latest episode of The Cult of Ron and Brian. A non-tax deductible contribution can be made by subscribing to our Patreon. Visit cultofronandbrian.com and click on Become a Patron. We'll see you again next week.